guys. Welcome back to Real Time JC, Real Time Jesus with me, Stephanie. Today is episode 17, and the title of today's devotion is My Distracted Mind, Trusting in God to Provide. This is a near and dear one to my heart because literally right now this is stuff I'm learning right now in real time today in my quiet time today. But first, I wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there. Tomorrow, if you're watching this on the day it's airing, which is Wednesday, November 22nd, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. And I pray that all of you have just such a wonderful time with your family, with all the food that you're going to be putting in your bodies and football games. And for me, it's sort of a tradition in my home, but the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I traditionally, I wake up, I go down, I start baking whatever I'm going to bake, and I turn on that parade, and I just love watching it. I love having it in the background. I love hearing all of the performances that like the bands have while they're walking and while they're waiting, just all the stuff. I love it. And I love seeing Santa come down the parade route too. It's so fun. And sometimes it looks like some of those big balloon thingies are going to fly away. And that's kind of fun too, to see the people trying to like hold them down in the wind. And sometimes it's raining. I don't know. I just love, I love all of that stuff. But okay, I'm getting a distracted mind right now. Okay, let's dig in. Matthew 6:34. I'm going to read this to you in two different versions. One is the TPT because I love it. I love it. It's the Passion Translation. It captures my heart. Okay, so Matthew 6:34, it says, refuse to worry about tomorrow, but deal with each challenge that comes your way. One day at a time, tomorrow will take care of itself. Okay, so let's read it as well in the NIV version, for those of you who love this version too. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. So, okay, this is the time of year, guys, where historically for the world, we are dishing out a lot of dollars, a lot of Benjamins. We are. I mean, with our Thanksgiving feast, with giving this time of year, a lot of us are we are generous with our money and we love to be able to give. With birthdays, I don't know about you, but I have a couple of birthdays happening that I purchase birthday gifts for. Christmas time, that's a big one. All the gifts and things for Christmas, just the decorating for Christmas, the money you spend for that, the money you spend for, again, all of the Christmas parties and the feasts that you give or that you're taking dishes to. Christmas cards, sending Christmas cards, office parties. I mean, there's just a number of different things. Also, though, historically, for a lot of people, this is a time where things start breaking down. I don't know why that is, but it seems like just this is the time of year that the heater goes out in my car or at your house, because it just gets a lot colder in your home and things just start breaking down. You start noticing how your window panes they're not cutting it now. And so you feel like maybe I need to change my windows out. I'm going to the extreme, but maybe it's not the extreme. Windshields crack on your car because of the extreme. And so you're money for that too. For me, this becomes a time in my work life that it like real estate starts to slow down a lot. And so I don't have a lot of transactions closing. Historically, many of you may or may not know that I am a professional singer and actress, and I spent a lot of years in the musical theater world, where that's what I did. I signed a contract. I started the contract usually February, March, and I did shows up until the end of December, and then I go on unemployment, and I draw unemployment for a few months, and then the cycle starts all over again. Well, there's also the component of when you're in that world of live theater where your contract runs out at the end of the year and you don't know if you're going to have a job or a new contract given to you until sometimes beginning mid-December. And so there's that fear of the unknown of am I going to have a job? Some of you may have just lost your job. And you're looking at this verse, you follow Christ and you know what this verse says, but reality is sinking in and you've got this amount of money maybe in your savings account, or maybe you don't have any in your savings account. Maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck right now and you don't know what tomorrow is going to hold for you. That is kind of where I've been the last few days, thinking about, wow, I mean, my closings are slowing down. I've got a lot of Christmas to do. I've got birthdays to do. And I don't know what next year is going to hold. And so what the enemy does in that, guys, is he starts to distract you from your focus on God. God tells us not to worry about tomorrow. He's the God who, in Exodus, if you look back in Exodus, while the Israelites were wandering around in the desert, he provided manna in the morning and quail at night for 40 years. 40 years. He provided exactly what they needed to survive. Now, I know you're probably thinking, you're looking at me going, but God, I've been there where I don't have food on the next table. I don't have food for my next meal. I don't have food to provide for my children. And I say to you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're walking through that. There are seasons that we all walk through, and we're all in different levels of needing provision from God. And I promise you guys, in my childhood, there were moments where we didn't know where our next meal was going to come from. We were that family that couldn't afford to go get a 39-cent hamburger from McDonald's. We were that family. So I've been there. I know what that feeling is to I wonder what mom is going to be able to cook for us today, to scrounge up for us today. And so I can relate to you there. But never does it say in the Bible, when you go through these times of not knowing how you're going to provide for your family, does it ever say, take your eyes off of me, take your eyes off of God, and let's just focus on the fear and the uncertainty and the distraction. It never does say that. Let me take you to the truth. Literally, this is what God took me to this morning to help me. Philippians 4:19. I'm going to read this to you in the TPT version right now because that's what I have marked. But you can also read it in the NIV if you'd like. But this is what it says here. Philippians 4:19. I am convinced that my God will fully satisfy every need you have, for I have seen the abundant riches of glory revealed to me through the Anointed One, Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. So what is he doing right now? He's telling us that literally God, we know that he has abundant riches for us. And I'm not talking about that prosperity stuff, guys. I'm talking about in every moment of our life, there is something that we're lacking, whether it be finances, whether it be something emotional, something spiritual. There's something that we're always lacking in that God is trying to help us grow in, that he's trying to provide for us in. And money is just one of those things. It can feel very, very major, but God promises us that he will provide for us our every need. So what I had to ask myself today, and thanks for processing this through with me, is what is he teaching me in this moment? What is the need in me, that root need in me that is still needing to be fleshed out? And for me, it was to release the control. of literally trusting in God, remembering his blessings, remembering what he has already given me throughout my life, but just literally in the last few months. And the funny thing is as I ran out of space in my journal yesterday. I got to get a new journal to write in, because I journal every morning. I process with God every single morning the things that I need to grow in. And this morning happened to be a morning that I needed to open up a new little temporary journal, which is this. And at the back of the journal, I am not kidding you guys. You can't plan these things. The back of the journal, when I opened my old journal to see if I had any pages left, and knowing what I'd just been processed, this is what was in the back of the journal. God's provision 2023. I wrote this at the very beginning of the year in January. And I had already written a list before it even happened of what God was going to provide for me this year. And I look back at that list. He knew I was going to write about it in my journal of what I'm processing through, trusting in him, giving him the control, trusting that he knows what I need before I even need it. And here I opened to this God's provision for 2023. You can't plan those things. So what he did in that moment was reminded me, write it down. If you take anything from today, it's this: write down what he's provided for you. Specifically, if you're working on the provision, like literal financial provision, you're nervous about that, you're fearful about what's going to happen in 2024, maybe even right now, write down what he's already done, about 10 things. And by the time you're done, God will start releasing. Those things will start to feel like the anxiety, that fear, like the need to control, the need to think about it, being distracted from what your eyes are supposed to be focused on. Those things will start to feel released in you. Okay. Psalms 42, 1-2 says, I long to drink of you, O God, drinking deeply from the streams of pleasure, flowing from your presence. My longings overwhelm me for more of you. My soul thirsts, it pants and longs for the living God. I want to come and see the face of God. This is what we need to be doing right now when we're feeling these anxious thoughts. The enemy, Satan himself, will do anything in his power to distract you from the thirst and the hunger that draws you closer to God. And if he can distract you with money and that need, that scarcity mentality, the feeling like you're like, I don't know where it's going to come from. And then you start feeling defeated. Then you start getting depressed and anxious and worry. He will do that. He will distract you. But God wants to brush away that dusty debris of distraction and tell you these things. And this is what he spoke to me in my devotion today. Come closer to me and heaven will invade that brokenness. The broken from being pointed to God, your eyes focused on God. It's broken right now when you're worried, when you're fearful, when you're anxious, when you're feeling depressed about what's the future holds for you. That's brokenness. It's a type of brokenness. He wants you to know that when you come closer to him, that heaven will literally invade it. It will encapsulate the brokenness and replace it with his glory, his splendor, his freedom, his peace. It's so cool. In you, he created you. He knows how to heal that. He knows how to refresh you. He is your wisdom. He speaks life into every dead thing. Every dead thing. Wow, that's so cool. He will resurrect the joy that your grief has been stolen from you. The grief has stolen. Sorry. Guys, he wants us to resign the weight, the heaviness to him so that he can give us grace. We can receive that grace from him. You don't need to carry all of this. You don't need to carry, seriously, we don't need to carry it. He carried it for us on the cross. That's why he came, to give us life. So when Satan can distract us with all of these things, it takes away life. He didn't come to literally die on the cross for us so that he can carry the weight of all of this for us to feel defeated and dead. Like, oh, he came to give us life. He came to take all of those things. He came to encapsulate us with everything that we need. How cool is that? It's so, so cool. He is enough. He is enough. He is enough. He is enough. So he's telling me right now, he's telling you right now to rest in him. He's got this. He will fill you up. He will fill me up completely. There will be no more room for contrary thoughts, for distracted thinking, for distracted minds when we literally allow heaven to invade us. Done. So when you start to feel distracted with the anxiety about how he's going to provide for you during the season and that money, and it starts to control you and take it over, remember, go to Psalms 42, 1-2, and just fill your mind, fill your spirit with this verse. I long to drink of you, O God. Drink deeply from the streams of pleasure flowing from your presence. My longings overwhelm me for more of you. My soul thirsts, it pants and longs for the living God. I want to come and see the face of God. Substitute your thoughts with Psalm 42, 1-2. Oh, yeah. He's got us. He's got you. He's got me. He does. And let's be thankful. Write it down. Write all the thankful things down today. What are you grateful for today? And have a wonderful Thanksgiving, a blessed Thanksgiving, and share what God is doing in your life, what you are grateful for with everyone around you. And me too. I want to hear about it. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, Realtime JC. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at StephNickSteph for more real-time inspiration and snippets. And I will see you for episode 18 on Black Friday. Ooh, Black Friday. Friday. Okay. Bye, guys. See you next time.